And then I'll repeat what put the comments in if you decide.
Thank you. No. Healthy glow. Have you got wine?
You only have to declare interest on things that are on the agenda. So, for example, the cemetery is not on the agenda, so you don't declare an interest on it. Would you like an agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alex, what have you got on the table?
A recording device and a phone.
So is that your personal recording?
This one's mine that I put on as a parishioner before the meeting starts, and that one is my mum's.
So, as a councillor?
Yeah. As I say, I put it on there as a parishioner before. I have no problem with my desk being used. It's not encroaching on my work.
Well, I have a problem with it.
But do you want to stop recordings happening in the meeting?
No, I don't think. I think we need to have a discussion about the sighting of a parishioner's phone to record the meeting.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be somewhere so it can pick up the recordings. I agree with that.
With the parishioner whose phone it is, it's their responsibility.
Well, this is actually my iPod, so I'm lending it to my mum. It's not a phone.
Do you want me to have that and I'll sit there?
If you prefer that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've got 5 minutes,
sit
yeah.
here.
No, seats for the parishioners we put over there.
Well,
So
you,
would you return to the
okay, well, I'll put my phone.
No, because I won't be able to pick up what's being said.
But it's not up to you to record parish council meetings. You're not
It
allowed to.
is. It is. The Localism Act. Sue, you can clarify this point.
And it's a law that a parishioner can record if they want to and keep the recording device.
No, that's not true.
It has to be made reasonable arrangements for a recording to be made.
And a reasonable
Sue, you could nip this in the bud.
Your mobile phone is kept with yourself. It's
What
your mobile
I would
phone.
recommend is that the council actually develop a policy.
But you can't develop a policy that usurps legislation from the government, can you?
But for example, you do have to protect people from being filmed who don't want to be
We're not filming
filmed.
anyone.
So we have a border and we say nobody can record or film past that border so that people who are parishioners' questions aren't getting accidentally filmed. But it's entirely up to the council.
Happy to turn it off and parishioners' questions.
We will look at our
I think it's
policy.
really important to turn it off in parishioners' questions. Yeah.
Yeah,
What some
I agree
councils
that we can do that.
Is when all this kicked off, they have parishioners' questions before the meeting starts.
Yeah.
So the meeting starts at 7:30, but councillors are invited to attend from
Yeah.
7:15, so parishioners can ask questions without any fear of being filmed or recorded by
Yeah,
accident.
because councillors have been prosecuted for attempting to stop recordings happening, haven't they?
So you do need to decide on it, hence why I say you need to decide on a policy.
Oh, goody.
Another one.
policy.
We'll talk about that. Right, 7:30. Apologies for absence.
Crazy.
Frank sends his apologies, he's on holiday.
Right.
Away is away on holiday.
I'm-
Dennis isn't
I imagine our county councillors and district councillors, do they know?
Yes, we do, but Councillor Barnfather's put apologies and he's got another meeting, and obviously got Councillor Hamilton and Councillor Roberts.
I think Councillor Allen said that she wouldn't
Yes, she
be able to
said
make
last
it as well.
night.
Okay.
She'd just come from a meeting. She said last night that
I've not heard from her.
apologies she wouldn't be able to get.
To receive declarations
Right,
of
so
interest.
Can I just make sure I've got this right? So I've got Councillors Hamilton, Robinson, Beckwith, Beeston, County Councillor Barnfather and Councillor Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Right,
Lovely.
we're there. Thank you.
Do you want to send Dennis a card or anything? He
Okay,
said
nice
he suggested it,
gesture.
didn't he, when Mike was unwell?
Yeah, I say he's not a well man at all.
Could I sort that?
That would be
Mr.
lovely, Sue,
Grant,
thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Say Frank's on well, or
Frank's on holidays.
Oh, holiday.
In London now as we speak.
sorry for some.
Okay. 2, declarations of interest.
No?
I can't see what she said.
Declarations of interest number 2.
No, right.
So 3, to resolve who is the designated council member in line with the grievance policy.
Can you speak up a little, please, on?
Can I suggest, if we can just move you forward 6 inches, because you're talking into Sue at the moment, is that, can you manage that, Jack? Can you
I'm
do
fine,
that?
I'll go wherever you want me to.
No, I just want Andrea to move forward, but she won't, we don't want her to move her own table because she's supposed to be looking after herself. And that way, when
Got
she
3
talks
now.
across us, she won't be talking into Sue.
Right.
Okay. So, to resolve who's the designated council member in line with the grievance policy. I think where this has arisen is that when we set up the personnel working party, we were going to set up a designated person as part of the personnel, but we didn't actually get to that point. So now it looks as if we need to get to that point. So we need to have a discussion over who we would like to nominate and who would be willing to be that designated person.
No, you
I've
expressed an
already-
interest, didn't you,
I've
Jack?
already said that I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Do
you.
you
Is there
want
anyone else?
Do you want to
that wants
Oh, sorry. Do you want to
Can
do
I have
it?
a proposal and a second, please?
I'll propose Jack.
I'll second Jack.
And you're happy with that?
Absolutely.
Lovely, thank you.
Need to vote on
All
that.
in favour?
Sorry.
All in favour?
Have we proposed
Why
a second?
vote? Why vote?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can vote for yourself.
So 4, to resolve the date and time to interview applicants for the position of clerk. And do we need to resolve the venue as well?
Well, yeah.
Depending on what we choose, given that we're into April, so the school this school isn't going to be free, it's quite relatively easy for us to access church, isn't it? And you do have, if you like, a reception room for people to wait in the main hall, and then a smaller room for interviews in the side, if that is convenient. But obviously it does depend on the day and time and the availability of the room.
And the church, St Mark's will be charging for that because there will be a considerable amount of time, I would imagine.
Yeah,
It's
true.
not just a planning meeting where
No,
we do it for nothing.
yeah. If anybody else has any venues that they can put forward.
No better.
It needs to obviously to have a separate room,
Mm.
you know, for,
And we can do tea and coffee and things, so I think the
asking
church is quite
questions,
convenient for
sort of
that.
thing.
Got parking.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good venue.
If the venue is going to be the church, how will we resolve the day and the time? Do we need to nominate someone to liaise with the church to see about availability?
Jack can
I
do
can do
that, but we're not going to be able to find the information out instantly, are we?
No,
Unless
no.
So
Well, this kind of ties in with number 5, doesn't it? Because the chair would arrange it, you would think. Just a thought.
well, the booking doesn't.
Well,
Jack can access the calendar, you see. 'cause
Yeah.
He's on the church calendar booking thing, so he can actually view what's available very easily. And we know off the top of our head certain dates and times that
Yeah,
the church
and
isn't going to be
certain days in
available.
the week when it's being used. So,
Okay.
so we've got a very
Key.
good idea now as to what would need to be confirmed.
Yeah.
So,
The key thing for me is in terms of who wants to be involved and their availability. So are we saying that we can't interview during weekdays because of people's working hours?
well, yeah. I mean, some of the candidates are working as well, aren't they? With the job traditionally revolving around evening meetings, you'd think an evening for an interviewing process.
How long do we anticipate each candidate being interviewed for, so that we can work out how long a session it's going to take? Because I think that's an important.
Yeah, that ties in with 8C a bit, doesn't it?
but it all depends how many we're going to interview as well. We haven't decided on that yet, have we?
I've just had an interview, as it happens, and the interview part of it, there was a skills task beforehand, but the actual interview part of it was pretty much 30 minutes,
30 minutes,
spot
just
on.
gonna say that.
Yeah,
So
So
if
it's about
we,
an hour.
and you've got
Per
changeover
candidate.
times as
we've
well.
got changeover time, so we need it for at least 2 hours.
Well,
I'm just thinking if you start at 7 for a minimum of 2 hours,
yeah,
that's even if you only do 3 candidates, that takes you to 9.
Mm.
I'm wondering if that's late, if we need to do a Saturday, which I'm reluctant to suggest. Do you have any experience of this, Sue?
My only suggestion is that your meetings are on Tuesday night, so it would be a good opportunity to perhaps to have a Tuesday night, and then you'll know who's available on a Tuesday regularly for you.
Oh, you're cunning. Cunning and clever. We're going to have to be really efficient to see the number of people that we want to see, potentially on a Tuesday night, aren't we? We're going to have to be...
It depends how many people
I mean,
on the
obviously-
shortlist. We haven't decided on that.
No, that's true.
Obviously, it's going to depend on how many people we do shortlist,
Yeah.
depending, you know, on the time that we need to interview.
Can I just say, would it be worth us deferring this to later? Because some of this is in kind of an odd order, isn't it? We haven't decided who the interviewing panel is yet, have we? And then we need to nominate a chair for the interviewing panel. We kind of like, and then we need to...
yeah. Well, you think the interview panel would be the working party, wouldn't it?
I assume that would be the case.
That would be normal
Is
practice.
that not right?
I'm not expecting to be on the interviewing panel.
Oh, right.
Sue, can you give us a bit of information?
It's entirely what you want. It doesn't even have to be members of the working party, it can be anybody.
I'd like to be on the interview panel.
Me too.
I think from good practice, usually you would have, I think, for the position of a parish council clerk, you'd have a maximum of 3 people on the interview.
Might be
panel.
intimidating to have more than 3.
Okay.
Get all
I think
9 of
five-
us.
I think 5 would be really difficult.
I mean, not all have 5, and 2 or 3 do the initial interviews, and then the others have nothing to do with it in case they then have to do second interviews, in case the first interviews are...
The other thing that you can do is have the councillors who are not on the interview panel doing the sort of reception of the candidates, getting to know them, informal chats, but they can contribute their impressions later. That's something that we do for vicar recruitment. So that can make sure that people feel involved if they want to be involved. We're hopping about like frogs on the edge of the
Yeah,
pond,
we are,
aren't we?
Yeah, it's because we've got a funny order, haven't we?
Yeah.
Shall we determine an interview panel first? I suggest we do that.
So are you jumping to 5 now to decide?
I
who
just
the
think,
chair of the
I think we can't, it will be, if we knew who the interview panel was, then it would be much easier to, we then need to get a chair, and then also availability of that interview panel will determine a date for the interview, wouldn't it? So,
Yeah, because
That's
if people are working, then
absolutely,
you've
absolutely.
got a better idea, haven't you?
So I think your recommendation from a few minutes ago, Sue, although you did say it's up to us, was that it could be intimidating if the interview panel consisted of more than 3 people. Could you say,
Well, yeah.
suggest that? I'm happy to go along with that. Alex has already expressed his desire. I said I'd like to be, but I won't be too upset if.
Well, I'm the same.
I know Portia's done a lot of work on it, and so I'm happy. I think you want to be on it, don't you?
I do, but I don't want that kind of means that...
Do you want to be on it, Pat?
Well, I wouldn't mind.
We could draw lots.
I think we need to nominate them, don't we? Who, if people want to be on it, we need to nominate.
Oh, definitely limit
someone.
it to 3, because it appears that the 4 of us would like to be on it. Is that the end of the world if we had an interview?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Well,
I mean-
let's do that.
We're not going to grill them,
Is that
are
a
we?
proposal then,
I
Councillor
propose that the 4 of us, Andrea says she's quite happy to leave herself out of it.
Seconder for that?
I do think we should
I'll
have an odd
second that.
number, but
It should be an odd number. We're going to have to,
But the thing is, we won't be making a decision anyway, will we? We'll only be
It's a
feeding back to the
recommendation.
council because we're still,
Absolutely.
yeah. So it doesn't really matter if it's even or odd.
It's a recommendation. Yeah.
Right. All in favour of that then?
Yep.
So it was
All of
resolved
us
that
4 on the.
Councillors Jones,
right.
Newling, Clark and Ashworth be on the interview panel. And I need the chairman first.
right. So now we need to decide who's going to chair the interview panel. So
Do we have any volunteers?
I could volunteer. I don't do anything else.
In that case, I would propose you.
For chairing it. I'll second Portia.
Okay,
Cool, yeah.
cool.
Do you want to be chairperson or chairman?
I would like to be chair.
Right, that's fine.
Thank you.
So that's,
And we're all happy with that, I think, put our hands up, I think we all are happy with that.
right, okay, marvellous.
So back to date,
A Tuesday.
I think we can do it, let's
And-
try an evening.
Yeah.
Can we go for the first Tuesday that we are able to manage, and we'll organise that by email? Well, we need to give the person time to, what, 2 weeks from now? When's that? Is that
That will be
The
Easter.
the 5th.
Because we've got Easter break coming up.
Tuesday the 5th would be 2 weeks.
Is that in
Sorry,
the-
I'm away on holiday that week.
right? Is that in the school holidays as well?
Yes,
I
no,
think
it's-
that's the school holidays.
Yeah, it is.
It is,
Sorry,
yes.
It's
What are we in now?
and the 12th we have a meeting, don't we?
We
Yeah.
do,
The
so that puts us back to
either the 29th or the 19th.
19th.
I think, is the 29th a bit
It's
soon?
a week potentially.
So a week today?
That's
I mean,
Easter Tuesday, people may be going away.
People might be
You know,
away.
I'm thinking they might not get the post, you know, with
Mm.
the post being.
That's
made.
Easter Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm worried about, would it be the most shocking thing in the world to hold our full council meeting on the 19th and hold our interviews on the 12th? Because our full council meeting date and agenda and so on haven't been published yet. Would that work? Because then we'd also be in a position to have the full council meeting ready to sort out the appointment.
and we could feedback at that
That
meeting.
sounds very sensible, yeah.
Is that all right with everybody?
It
I'm
would-
away.
It would
It-
flow well, wouldn't it?
Are you here on the
And
12th?
the 12th, I think you've already booked the 12th.
The 12th, you're not.
Yes, I believe so. That's just 2 months
That's a
ago.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes.
The other alternative is another
if you want
evening.
Me to, if you want me to not be on the, you know, if it's going to make things awkward.
We don't want you to not be on it, however, I'm not convinced I want to wait that long.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about the people whose application was in on the 7th of
February.
February.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It'll be, what, 3 months later? No, 2 months later.
Have we sent acknowledgement letters out? I can't remember.
I've sent, holding letters saying that we've extended the date and it's
Oh,
all
yes,
be back
yeah,
to them
yeah.
shortly afterwards.
Would you be very disappointed if we went with the 12th, Pat?
No?
Oh, sorry, is Pat not available?
No, Pat's not here on the
On
12th.
a jollies.
Oh, and I am the week before you, weren't I?
Okay.
The other alternative is an alternate day evening, but
Yeah.
it sort of falls out of place with holding it on the Tuesday for that purpose.
And it also starts getting complicated with church bookings and, well, potentially we know that the Tuesday the 12th is free because we already had it booked.
Yeah.
We could agree Tuesday the 12th here and now without any
Yeah,
problems
we
at all
could,
because we
it's
know the
booked for
church is
meeting,
booked.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And I know you have to try and get it for the 19th.
Do you mind being away?
Full council.
If it simplifies things, gets the job moving, then I don't mind.
Appreciate that, Pat, thank you.
Okay?
Thanks,
Right,
Paul.
so going back to the date and time for interview, I've got dates. It was resolved that interviews will be held on Tuesday evening. Date set as the 12th of April. Full council will be moved to the 19th of April. J8 book. Yeah. It was resolved that the venue will be St Mark's Church, Jack to Sort. Note there'll be a charge.
Yeah, 7 p.m. start.
In fact, we
Yeah.
don't need the Jack to Sort now, do we? Because we know we've already got it on that date.
Well, I've just got to sort the 19th, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't see any,
Okay,
I don't see any
marvellous.
problems
So we're all
with that.
happy with that then, yeah?
Can we start any earlier than 7? I'm wondering, we could, for example, invite people for 6:45, give them coffee and what's it,
yeah.
and then start the actual interviewing at 7.
There for 7:15. Yeah. Do we need to do a rota of people as well? Ultimately, don't we? So you don't want them there waiting from 7:15 until the last
No,
interview.
give people at individual times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that makes sense. If the interview is to start at 7, if you invited them there for, well, let them make their own judgment as to what time they come for an interview starting at 7. It's kind of a test as well then.
And if you like, you three will be interviewing and I'll be out in the main hall and I can agree and make a cup of tea or something, can't I?
Lovely.
And just hold the
That'd be good, yeah.
before they.
Yeah.
come through.
Yeah.
Are we able to get there? How early are you able to get there from work, given that we might want a bit of a
6:30 really. If I leave at 5:30,
yeah?
given traffic from the city centre, I wouldn't like to say any earlier and not make it for that time.
I'm just thinking it might be nice to have a bit of a
Get our heads
get
together.
our heads together and
Yeah.
get ourselves. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so should we try to get there for 6:30ish?
Yeah.
Invite the candidates for a start at 7, and we're expecting them to be there a little bit earlier.
Sounds good.
You invite
Fine
all the
with tea and
candidates to
coffee.
get there for 7.
No, sorry, the
No.
first candidate.
Well, we said we give them staggered times.
Mm.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, we have them now.
Yeah, I've just made a note, Councillor Bennington is to act as host to arrivals.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Fine, yeah. So do we need to vote on that? Are everybody happy that that's what we're doing?
I think that's a
Propose
mutual
it,
decision we've made, isn't
Okay.
it?
Do we have a proposer and stuff? Or?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you say
okay.
the-
Are you proposing?
I'll
Yeah.
propose it
I'll
anyway.
second it.
Okay.
The full meeting, yes.
Yes.
Everybody
Yes.
okay?
Thank you very much, thank you. So 6 is to resolve the pay scales for the new card. We have had guidance from NELC and SLCC around appropriate pay scales. We've had quite a long conversation in the working party about the most appropriate pay scale. But anybody like to offer any more?
Well, I thought as a working party, we kind of felt SC24 was in between the two ends that we were coming at. So spinal column point 24 seemed reasonable.
Are you setting a finishing point? Because,
In terms of what they can increment to,
yes, so that once they've reached that ceiling, they don't go any further unless they're qualified.
we haven't discussed that.
I
No,
think
you're able to sort of do it here if you
Yeah.
want to, if you're happy to. That's why we sort of banded them in groups.
from 23 to 25 was that band, wasn't it?
But we don't have to stick to those.
Yeah, but the
Well-
one that we've
Do we
done
have to
was
specify, or can we not just say that that will come as part of the annual review?
Just be careful when you write your contract in that case, because if you say that someone is going to get an annual increment and you don't set a ceiling, in 10-15 years' time they could be at the top of the scale still doing the same
Yeah,
job.
I mean, I personally wouldn't suggest putting they automatically get an annual increment anyway.
Just
More a
watch
review
what
on
you put in
pay.
your contract.
Yeah,
That's all I would say, because I think the standard now contract might have that in
it does.
So you do need to take it out in that case.
Will everybody remember to take that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that would get past you. Yeah, so can we decide to not address that today?
You-
And then,
Yeah, I think
Have it
you'd
in
want
the
to spend some
contract.
time, like rather than just be here all night discussing it. It makes sense.
So
Okay.
it was resolved that SC24 will be the
Yeah, here, Pat.
starting rate,
but starting rate would increase, would thinking that it goes up, wouldn't it?
increments
would be-
according to experience and
Start
Just a
qualifications.
thought.
would be the salary.
Starting salary.
Uh,
Increases
increments.
subject to council
Subject to
agreement.
review.
I'm just thinking if someone looks
Yeah.
back at this when they've got the job and says, hang on, you said, annual review and you haven't given me one for 6 years. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to think of potential pitfalls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Not
think there's
trying
any.
to pick
No, no,
people,
I
yeah.
totally
What
understand.
phrase do you recommend, Sue, that covers the things that we've talked about?
Well, I was going to say, I don't think there's any harm saying a review because a review doesn't necessarily mean an increment. It is just a review.
But you're talking about salaries.
Yeah,
Heading is salaries. So.
Yeah, I'd like to be reviewed
Future increments
after.
to be decided or something.
Yeah.
So that way future. And then it makes it clear then that, it's to be decided. It's not anything that anybody's entitled to. So it was resolved that SC24 will be the starting salary, in brackets, future increments to rates will be decided. To be decided, yeah? So proposal for that? Seconder?
Yeah.
For that, yeah? All in favour? Okay.
Thank you. So 7, to resolve domestic allowance for clerk. So again, we've had a discussion in the working party, and that,
Are we going with the 240?
I think we came up with the decision.
That was the recommendation to full council, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
£240.
Before we, I know that's what we said in the working party, but we didn't have a chance to ask Sue how her number came about. Because you had.
I just sort of guessed at the fact that you seemed to think you were overpaying before,
Yeah.
And the fact that you were scaling the hours back, so I've just scaled the domestic allowance back the same. It's that simple. So we're sort of halving the hours in a month, so I'll halve the domestic allowance.
So was the domestic allowance before
It was
that?
300 or something, wasn't it?
1,300.
1,300 or something, yeah. So.
Right, okay.
But it's exactly it's what you want to set. So is that per annum, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
But what we did say would be to be paid monthly with the salary at £20 a month. That works
Yeah.
out. If people are in agreement with
That's
that.
what we said, yeah.
Right, okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm just thinking, if we can skip back to the previous one, is it worth specifying that they're getting paid in arrears or in advance?
In
or-
arrears, I think, is normal
Yeah, so
practice,
you're happy for
isn't
me
it?
to add in arrears?
Can I
Yeah,
just say I've just had a lovely contract that I was very interested to see. You are paid 2 weeks in arrears and 2 weeks in advance.
Oh,
How fair is that?
So same for the domestic allowance to be paid monthly in arrears?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay, have I got a proposal for that then?
Approve that.
Yes, I'll second it.
It's all J's and A's. Right,
Just making life easy.
everybody happy?
Go AJ.
Yeah.
Right, so at that point, we have gone from 1 to 7, so that is the agenda for the public. So now we've come to the financial slot. So pursuant to the public bodies having this meeting on the 6th